Hello, Madison. I'm Michael Bell, and I'm the lead singer front man for the Bowie Lives show that I put together with my good friend Michael Beauclair back in 2017, I guess, the end of 2017. And yeah, and we're traveling around Ontario playing the theater market, and we're coming to your town. How long have I been doing Bowie is a great question. I guess I've been singing Bowie since I was a young kid. I was 14 when I bought my first album, which was Young Americans when it first came out. And then once having discovered him, I quickly bought up as many records as I could that had come to that point. And so I, got all his back catalog and then I've always played in bands and always been a singer all through high school. So I had a number of kind of cover bands, and I had a kind of a cult success with an original band called Strobeck Axe back in the 70s. And we did a couple of Bowie tunes then. And then in the 80s, I won a Q107 homegrown contest in the day in 1984. And while we were waiting for a record deal, my agent suggested that I put a Bowie show together because it was this new thing called tribute acts, and I had a show back called Changes All Bowie back in the day, and then left the business and began raising a family, and I started a magazine and which I had for 30 years called The Wire magazine, which was like an entertainment piece. We used to distribute in Barrie for a while. And then I came back out after David passed. I came back out to sing Bublé and Sinatra in the theaters, and then in 2016, and then David passed, and everybody suggested I put the show back together, and so here we are. The show is back together. Well, in this case, for me, it was really a way to honor the guy. I mean, he had a really profound effect on me as a young dude, trying, as a young performer. One, I certainly cut my teeth singing his material, always challenging, big range, big voice. So that was great. And then, fashion, I loved the fact that he was dressing up in the glam days and, obviously had great looks all throughout his career. So, and marketing strategies, there was a whole bunch of stuff I took away from him as a young guy. So doing the tribute at this point, I really feel like it's a bit of a mission to help keep, his legacy alive. And I've really created a show that's more of a happening than the traditional tribute. I don't pretend to be David Bowie on stage. I wear an iconic blue suit through the show. I have the costumes being paraded out by dancers and actors. So you get all of the costumes, but you don't have to, look at a 60-year-old guy in a skin-tight jumpsuit. So, it's really about, honoring the legacy and creating a happening for other folks who are big fans to get involved. And we invite them to dress up at the shows for the shows, and often get them, folks on stage and that sort of thing. And have a big offering in the lobby where we do our merch, and we do Bowie collectibles and LPs and DVDs and rarities and things like that, and a little museum of things that I've collected over the years. And so it's really just, it's a big happening. So that's, certainly the treat in doing a tribute to David Bowie, that, for me anyways. Yeah, it's really been great. It was all part of kind of, my exit strategy from business, to go back out. And with the Bowie show, I traditionally put a spring show together, a fall show together, fall tour together. It's where the majority of the dates are. We do a few in the spring. Getting to play all the iconic rooms around Ontario is fantastic. Never played the Georgian Theatre, so that's going to be special. I know Barrie, being up there, many, many times over the years. I'm actually, right now I'm in Wasaga Beach. I came up to see two of the women in the show also have a female-centric Bowie tribute called I Will Be King. all women, and the front woman, Alana Hart, is in our show, sings backups and plays guitar, as well as the keyboardist Janet Whiteway. So I'm up here. I came up for the weekend to see them last night, and then I came over to Wasaga yesterday and took a room, and I'm thinking like I'm going to stay for another day. The weather's so beautiful. And so, certainly, having the show allows me to travel, my wife and I, to travel around and see little towns that we may not necessarily get to that often, and then play some iconic room and meet a bunch of fellow Bowie fans and have a good time. So yeah, I feel kind of blessed, to tell you the truth. What can you expect when you come to a Bowie Lives show? Well, as I say, we have the big offering out front, so we suggest for folks to come early so they can, check out our collectibles and maybe grab a t-shirt or, just meet some of the folks that are working the lobby to bring people in, pick up a commemorative pin. We always do a special little pin for every show that has the date on it and the venue and that sort of thing. And then the show itself, of course, we start at the beginning and we end at the end, and we present all the material in order with multimedia offerings if we can. Some theaters don't have the screens that we need, but it's a killer band, and as you can imagine, it's challenging material, so you really have to have the top players to be able to pull this stuff off. And we present the looks and kind of the spirit and the style of the day for all the songs, and we play all the hits. We do a couple of deep dives, but every song that you would imagine should be in the show is in the show. And as a caveat to that is that we often meet folks in the lobby afterwards that say, I never knew that was his song. And because the styles are so different that, if you're not really paying attention, you might not recognize that the material that he recorded in Berlin is from the same guy that was Ziggy Stardust, or the same guy that was, Let's Dance, because it's just such different, different material, different sounds. So yeah, people will, if they're, apprehensive about being, seeing a David Bowie tribute because they just don't think somebody could do them justice, I challenge them to come to our show and read some of the comments of folks who have had that. Bowie fans are pretty hardcore. So I always said when I started this show that most Bowie fans would just hate what we're doing, which is being a tribute to David Bowie, because they would just think it's opportunistic, but we really try to evoke the spirit and create a happening that everybody can come together and celebrate the music and the art and the genius of David Bowie. So I'd like to invite everybody to come and see us at the Georgian Theatre in Barrie on September 21st. If you've never seen Bowie before, this is probably the great offering for you to discover the guy and discover his material. And for all those Bowie fans in the marketplace, I hope to see you there. That looks like the show's selling well, and we're, I guess, a month out. So we're preparing to take Barrie by storm.